I think one of the most underrated features of the Rodecaster Pro II and the Rodecaster Duo is the fact that they have VESA mount compatibility built right in. This means you can put either device on any VESA arm for a ton of improved versatility, or VESA-tility, in your setup. And you don't even need to worry about getting the most heavy duty or the most expensive arm, because most arms are designed to hold things like computer monitors or TVs, all of which pretty much weigh more than the Rodecaster Pro II, and especially the Rodecaster Duo, which is super tiny. So they'll work with pretty much any arm, but the only thing that will maybe steer you away from those less expensive options is the fact that the cheapest arms you can find sometimes have mounts that, while they are totally sturdy, sort of dig into your desk or your table surface and could potentially damage it or leave marks. Once you jump up to the higher end or the nicer arms, which in this case could literally be like the $30 option instead of the $15 option, you'll find that the clamp, the part that mounts onto a surface, has like padding on it and just some more options and things to not only add stability, but also make sure it's not gonna damage whatever surface you're trying to attach the arm to. But the reason I wanna make this video specifically is not just to explain that, but it's because for the past year and a half or so, anytime my Rodecaster has been sort of floating here in the background of a video, I've gotten a lot of questions about it as if I have some sort of sorcery or magic, which I do not. This is just an arm I found on Amazon, but I did want to talk specifically about the arm that I use because it is a little bit different. But just because it works great for me doesn't mean it's going to work for every setup, but it does add some really cool functionality while only taking away a little bit of versatility. And for me, it's been a really good balance. So this arm is from a brand called Vivo. Again, I'm not associated with them at all. I just found them on Amazon, but I have been living la Vivo loca for a while now, and I've been enjoying that, so viva la Vivo. And the thing about this arm, as you can probably see, the thing that really makes it stand out is it is super long. And that is really helpful for me because I film in this relatively small space, which means sometimes I want the Rodecaster right up in my setup, like when I'm over here and filming something, and sometimes I want it out of the way. And then I also over here film a lot of product B-roll, so it's nice to be able to totally just like move this or fold it out of the way, and then I essentially open up this whole area of my desk without having the Rodecaster in the way at all. It also lets me easily include the Rodecaster Pro in my main shot when I want to, or keep it out of the frame when I want to, depending on the video. And if I ever need to film the Rodecaster's display or settings, I can easily position it for my camera instead of having to set up a top-down shot. I did recently make a video about installing a simple permanent top-down setup in my studio, but this works great if you don't have something like that, and for most of the time that I've had this arm, I did not have a permanent top-down setup. Really, the only negative with this arm is the height adjustment. It does have 3 sections. It has 3 segments here, so there's a ton of different ways I can position and move the Rodecaster around. And there is a tilting head here, so I can still adjust the angle if I want to. But what I can't do with a normal arm, like if I bring my computer monitor in here, I can very easily raise and lower it like this. I can't do that with this. It's sort of stuck at one height because of the way that it attaches to the table itself. The part that mounts on your desk is a post that is about this tall, and then you just sort of decide where you want to clamp the arm along that post, and that's how you adjust the height. For me, I wanted it to be really low because what I wanted to be able to do was have my computer screen here and bring the Rodecaster like under the computer screen. That way I can have both the Rodecaster and the computer screen working at the same time. So I keep the Rodecaster really low. It's the Lowcaster over here. And like I said, that is the biggest downside to this arm, is if you want to adjust the height, you have to sort of loosen the clamp and then slide the whole arm up and tighten it back down. Not that that's super difficult, but it's not something you want to do multiple times a day or anything. So if you're somebody who probably wants to adjust the height of your Rodecaster pretty frequently, this is probably not the arm for you. For me, that wasn't an issue because I pretty much wanted to set it and forget it and just keep it in one spot. Now the problem that this caused was that because my Rodecaster was mounted really low on that post, I just sort of had this tall post that was doing nothing, and I tried to sort of play with it and like mount, maybe I could mount a light or a microphone or something to it, and that never really worked out. And the biggest downside was then it was getting in the way of my monitors and it was hitting the post. So what I actually did was just took a hacksaw and cut the post down. So now on my arm, I cannot adjust the height anymore. But after having it for well over a year and never adjusting the height, I figured that was okay. And that's worked really great for me because it's opened up so much more room for my monitor, and it's sort of cleared things out while still adding in that versatility. And the other thing, especially when dealing with something like a Rodecaster or an audio mixer, is the cable management. A lot of VESA arms have different cable management, but this one works pretty well. Just in my default configuration, I have quite a few things that are always connected to the Rodecaster, and then I add them frequently. So being able to just sort of run them semi-neatly looking down here on the arm is really helpful, because that way I don't have to deal with cables getting in the way either, especially as I'm moving it around. So when you're looking for an arm for the Rodecaster, you don't only want to look at versatility, you don't only want to make sure that the arm's not going to damage the surface you mount it on, but you also want to make sure there's some sort of cable management, because a working audio interface has a lot of cables running in and out of it, and that's just a difficult thing to keep track of. But you know what's not difficult to keep track of? Everyone who helps support my channel through Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. Didn't really expect to end the video there, but that was everything. The arms are great. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you want to know more about the Rodecaster Pro II and the Rodecaster Duo, check out these videos right here.